Okay, so we had 3 questions left, and this was for carbon ions. Is it possible to choose either LEM or MKM model? Also quite an advanced question already. And actually, it's a very good question because I'm thinking about doing this, like integrating MKM. But so far I haven't done it. So at the moment we only have, in principle, the functionality is there. So you just need the model. You just need to implement the model. So if you implement the model, you can calculate and directly use the optimization capabilities. So it will use it has the infrastructure for using different models. So for example, on our research branch, you are also able to choose proton models, different ones. And they will always work with the same optimization technique that Hans-Peter will explain on Thursday, right? Yes. So that would be a primary example. So you are interested in implementing MKM or having MKM and want to implement it, and you maybe have some data. So can we do it together? And this would be something we would say, oh, this would be probably interesting for a lot of users and also for us. So let's see how we can help each other. What is the largest prescribed dose for the LEM models? Hans-Peter, you know that, right?
Yeah, maybe I can take it. So I think it's 5 or 10 gray.
Per fraction.
Per fraction, it always refers to the fraction at the dose level. And if you prescribe larger fraction doses, then the existing base data is not supporting such cases. So it's only limited to fraction doses below 10 or 5 gray. I would have to double check, but either 5 or 10 gray. And yeah, I also wanted to add one more thing to what Niklas was saying, is that in principle, the framework is there to incorporate other biological models. So you just have to implement the model on your own that's producing the biological base data, so to say. But once it's produced by the respective model, it can be integrated easily in the existing framework for treatment planning.
Yeah, for example, like a little bit more advanced. So maybe you have an MKM scorer integrated into a Monte Carlo dose calculation that is able to score like the alpha parameter times dose and the beta parameter times dose squared. Then you can do this and directly use it with the MatRad optimization. But the model itself is not there. That's like one of these things that also refers to the questions before, which says let's say the skeleton is there, but if you want something, you need to also engage actively. It's not like MatRad is not a product that gives you what you want, in a sense. And this kind of also concerns the 10th question, which I think was also not answered and has been marked now. So in principle, you can choose between SFUD and IMPT, but there is no button in that for the user. Okay, Yoda says that the participants should switch off the cameras, please. Probably because of bandwidth and so on. But I should tell you this. So, but regarding SFUD and IMPT, so in principle, you can do this. So we have a project at the moment, for example, where we do it. We basically compute an IMPT plan, optimize a single beam, and then collapse all of this beam into having like a single SFUD beam. So there are ways to do this, and this is like one of the reasons of MatRad, that things like this are easily achievable. But usually it doesn't have a button in the user interface, which basically gives you only the basic functionality. And that's why we also in the hands-on will look a little bit into the code, so to also encourage you to play around with it and modify code like for your own projects. So that's the thing. Like if you have some, you can argue that SFUT versus IMPT is kind of a standard feature, of course, but still, it's like so easily achievable by yourself. We don't see it needed to be implemented in the user interface, and so you can principally just hack it by writing a little, like a few lines of script. Um, Question number 12. Can you create an input file to define your beam parameters such as emittance, etc.? Excellent question. Also something we work on. So there are two things that you can do. The one thing is create your own machine file. So that's what Hans-Peter, for example, did to make the comparison to the HIT system. Created the machine file with help from some researchers there. And I think the data was taken from the TRIP system, right? That HIT used also, or uses also for research purposes still. And then you can basically adapt this. Going to more complex like beam shapes where you basically need a B Gaussian emittance parameterization or something like this. There's also a research branch where we do this especially on the Monte Carlo development side. So you see, all of this is kind of ongoing work. And if you have such questions, always the best thing is to go on GitHub and ask. There's like, I think there are like 1 or 2 open issues at the moment on GitHub that deals with this, where then I answer or someone else answers to tell you, oh, look at this development branch of MatRad here. Here you can do it and you can change your beam parameters and so on. Do you plan to have the function of rescanning in MatRad? No, there are no plans at the moment to do this. If someone wants to implement it, you can do it. We have some 4D implementation also. So there might be a good point to start this, but I also think there was already some publication that investigated this from other researchers. Unfortunately, not everybody contributes the code that they write when they make their research projects. So that's something that hopefully gets better and better. But maybe just to also show you a little bit how people use MatRad. Since the questions are now over, I will quickly share something of share my screen.